Alright, what's going on, dudes, and welcome back to Beta 1.9 Pre-Release 4. This time we'll be focusing on item enchantment. So while the enchantment table was included in the third pre-release of 1.9, you actually couldn't do anything with it. But now that's changed, and you can use the enchantment table to add a whole bunch of different enhancements to all of your favorite items, if your favorite items include armor and weapons and or tools. So if I right click on the enchantment table after crafting it, it brings up the enchantment menu. So if I add an item to it, it can be either a piece of armor or tools or a sword. To my knowledge, that's what it is limited to at the moment, but I'll start with the diamond sword. Why not? So now it's going to bring up a little list of things I can select. Those numbers on the side correspond to the cost of each enchantment, and that deducts points from your experience. So if I keep clicking on the diamond sword, picking it up and placing it back down, you'll notice that the numbers and the enchantments change. Now the text here actually doesn't correspond to what enchantment you will be getting if you select it. That's actually text from the standard galactic alphabet, and it's translated from a list of a bunch of different words, including the Elder Scroll. I wonder why he included those words. Klaatu, bless, curse, light, darkness, fire, air, earth, water, hot, dry, wet, cold, ignite, stuff, lots of different words. But they have nothing to do with the actual enchantment you will be getting, and you can actually, if you would like, translate this to English by replacing an image file inside of your Minecraft.jar, if that suits your fancy. But for the time being, you're going to have to blindly pick whatever enchantment you think you would like. So let's choose this one for 3 experience points. And now when we hover over our sword, we notice that it says sharpness. So we got a sharpness enchantment. And now if we hold it, it's all shimmery and blue tinted. And I would assume that this makes it more deadly when we hit a mob with it. Unfortunately, there are no mobs on this little pedestal of ours. I thought this was kind of a cool little terrain area to enchant items on. It's almost like I'm Sauron standing and overlooking the world. But yes, anyway, so let's add another item, and we can let's buy this one for 5 experience points and see what it does. Projectile Protection. So I don't know if that means when we jump off of something and our helmet is on our head, it means it protects us when we land on our feet, makes us take less damage, or if it means when a skeleton attempts to shoot us in the head, we don't get hurt as much. We'll see. So, yeah. Anyway, we'll try for a few more. Let's see. Fire protection. I think it's pretty obvious what that means. And let's go for another. Protection 1. That seems like a very, very general name for an enhancement to your item. So I'm sure that people are trying to figure out explicitly what code changes as far as item statistics when you add these enhancements. So I'm sure very shortly there will be a list that gives you a whole bunch of info about every enchantment and what it does to improve your item. But for now, you're just going to have to infer by the name that you get when you hover over your item. So that's the basics of enchantment. Now, there's actually one thing you can do in order to enhance your enchantments even further, and I'll cut to that right now. Okay, so as I had stated, the way that you can actually go ahead and enhance your enchantments so that they are even more powerful and cost a lot more is to put your enchantment table in the vicinity of some bookshelves. So I made a big library just for the purpose, and all these books actually aren't going to have an effect. It's only the books in the immediate vicinity of your enchantment table. So I figured that this hallway right here will have the maximum effect. So let's place down our table yet again, and you'll notice that a whole bunch of different characters, I would assume that these are still the standard galactic alphabet characters, will come streaming in from the bookshelf into the enchantment table. So now you'll see a difference when we right click on the table and add an item. Whoa, the prices went way up. 21, 16, 32. That is mighty expensive, but why not? Let's put our sword in and get a worthwhile 32 experience enchantment for it. Sharpness 3 and fire aspect 2. I would assume that this is quite a valuable sword at this point. So you may have noticed beforehand when I was adding items that the levels on them were like 1, protection 1, fire 1, sharpness 1. So this has sharpness 3 and fire aspect 2. So it is much, much higher level, and it has 2 different enchantments on it as well. So I would assume that if we took this and used it against whatever it is powerful against, we would do some heavy damage to it. So yes, I have no more experience now. I have enough to get, let's try a 7.1. Respiration 1. I would take a wild guess and say that this will allow you to breathe underwater. But again, I don't know the exact specifications, and we'll have to wait for a big list to be compiled of all that good stuff. But anyway, I actually had to work really hard to get all that experience, since I'm not aware if there is a third-party editor that will allow you to just input a number that you want your experience to be. So I killed a lot of zombies for that. A lot of zombies. But anyway, it was fun. So I think that's about it for enchantments. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching and found it somewhat informative. So on that note, I will catch you all later.